If you want to improve the conversion rate of your website, or if you're building a new landing page or a new website, and you want to make sure that your website is clear, that it will convert, that it communicates well, this checklist is a great tool to use to really check what you do as you build it or to check your existing website. So it's a list of 7 questions. Those are questions that your visitors will most likely ask as they read through your website. And it's valid for landing pages, for home pages, for a lot of different types of content. So let me give you the overview first, and I'll share with you 2 examples of some websites using this checklist so you really understand how to use it, and then you can use it for your own website after that. So the first question is, so when people arrive on your website, the first question that people will have is, what is this? What is this website? What is this company? What is this service? So there are variations of the questions, and you will see here all sort of other questions or sub questions related to this. So depending on the situation, so for example, your situation is if someone is actively searching for a product or a service like yours, if people are just possibly interested and they've heard of something, and there are other categories as well. So this is a general guideline, but of course it will vary depending on your situation and what you do. But that's the first thing people will say, will arrive, and what is this company, service, product, or person? So that's the first question. The second question is, now that I understand what is this website all about, or what is this service all about, is this product made for me? Will it work for me for my situation? So, you know, that's the second question, and it's all automatic questions that we have in our brain, and I'll share with you some examples. And this is where, if people don't realize that your products or service is made for people like them, then they might say, "Hey, that website looks great, but I don't think it's for me." And so if they don't recognize themselves, and then they will bounce off. So it's very important that people recognize themselves. The next question, and sometimes the order will vary, but very commonly the next question is, how much is it? And sometimes we're not looking for the exact price, because sometimes a product or a service is a custom, it's a custom price. It depends on all sort of factor, but very often we want to see if it's within our budget, or if we're in the right category. If you're looking for a car, you might want a luxury car, which is very expensive, or you might want a normal car, the average car that people buy, or it can be a used car because, it's cheaper. So people will want to know, like, okay, is it within my budget, or what's the price, if there's a pricing page. And notice, when you look at the product and a service, or a software, sometimes we see the pricing and we go there just to see if it's within our budget, because if it's above our budget, we will not waste any time, or most likely we don't want to waste any time looking at a product if it's over what we can pay. So that's very, very common. We want to have at least an idea of the category of pricing. Is it premium? Is it average? Is it very low price? So that's the next question. The next question after that, once we know what it is, that it can be for us, that it's within our budget, the next question is, okay, if I make a decision on buying this, how do I make the purchase? How do I get it? What is the call to action? What is the process? And sometimes it's buy it now, and in case of a software, for example, sometimes we know that it's a software, and we're gonna have to learn about the software. So the price, it's not only in terms of money, but sometimes in terms of time, how much time it takes. For some services, we might need to speak to someone, and so it's like we need to talk to someone for an hour, or a salesperson, or there's a sales process. So very often that can be a hindrance to the decision of making a decision, is the process itself. And sometimes we'd look at a website and there's no mention of the process. It's like, book a call, and we have no idea if it's going to be a 15-minute phone call or a 2-hour phone call. We have no idea when, we're going to have a response from the people. So again, the more detail, the better it is. The next question, once we're clear that, okay, we know how to get it, we know the process, so if we want to buy, we know how it works. The next question is, how safe does the company look, or the product looks, or so is there any risk in buying from this company? Does the website look professional enough? So there are all sort of stuff in there that, can you trust it? And maybe there are some testimonials, maybe there are some reviews, the success rate of the products and the services, some ratings. So there are multiple things that people look at. So basically, we want to know if we can trust it. Is there like a guarantee? If I buy it, I want a refund. Is there a refund policy? So there are multiple things here that ideally you want to answer. So because those are questions that most people will ask. The next question, after we realize, okay, we can trust this company, it looks safe, it looks, the risks are low. The next question we ask is, okay, is it worth to buy this product or this service? And it's the question of, like, does it make sense? So you look at the price, and will it, for the price that I pay, is it going to help me? And there are multiple ways of looking at the worth of something. Is it going to save me time? Is it going to help me make more money or save me money? Is it gonna reduce the risks for my business, for example? Is it gonna reduce any type of frustrations? So we do that automatically. Again, we look at a product, regardless. Sometimes it's $5 a month. Sometimes it's a car that you're gonna pay $25,000. We look at is it worth it? And then the last question is, you know what should we do? Should we do it now? Should we buy it now? Should we buy it later? Should we make it, maybe we're going to make a decision like, that's not for me, and we'll never buy this? Or do we look at something else? And this is where people will open Google and look at alternatives, and our decisions will be very often. Sometimes we don't look at our alternatives, but sometimes we do. And this is really the last step that we go through. And eventually we will buy maybe a product in that category, or we'll decide not to do it, or we might do it later. So that is the buying process that for most of us we go through. For most of us in this order. Sometimes there are variations. Some people look at pricing. Some people look at pricing differently. Some people look at safety differently than others. So some people are more sensitive to the risk and the safety and the refund. Some people are less concerned about that. So this is where everybody is different, every buyer is different, but there are definitely those key principles that most of us will go through. So I'll share here an example of a website that I found from a news article. They were talking about neobanks. I've never heard of the term of a neobank, and I was curious to see their website and to learn more about what they do. The article, the news article was something about banking for, small business owners, for freelancers. I was curious to see what they do. So I'm going to go through the 7 questions, and you're going to see the importance of those questions and what happens in the mind of a buyer when those questions are not answered. So if we arrive here, so that's the homepage of this company called Oxygen.us. I'll put the links below. And so the first question is, what is this, right? So I've heard of this service for small business owners, something to do with banking. We assume it's called the neobanks, so it must be something to do with banking. So we arrive, and all we see is a say no to normal, let's do this. Then we have a logo there with a company logo, and then personal and business. So from the get-go, what is this? I can't answer that question because this is marketing jargon. Some people do marketing like for large brands. If you're Nike and you just write "just do it," that's fine. Everybody knows about it. But if it's a new service in a new category, if it says "say no to normal," I don't know what normal they're talking about. I don't have any idea about what is this service. So what people will do when we don't understand what is this is we're gonna start scrolling, right? So I'm gonna start scrolling here, and there's this special effect there. Then we're gonna continue reading. So here it says "stay extraordinary." So it's very hard to read because the words are cut off, and there are some pictures that, again, what does that have anything to do with banks? We're not too sure. Here it says "let's keep you moving." Again, marketing jargon that doesn't tell us what this business is all about or this service. And then it says "game changers, entrepreneurs, and creators move quickly. As the financial platform for free thinkers, we do too. We're here for the people who are changing the world. Yes, we're looking at you." So that last sentence is a bit strange. What do you mean you're looking at us? So again, what is this? Is that like a bank, or is the what type of, like, can I get a loan from them? Like, what is this service? We're not sure. Here it says apply, and then there's some download of an app. But nobody, for most people, we won't, unless we know about it, we won't go and click on those things because we don't know what it is. Some people might say, I don't know what it is. Let's install something on my phone. I'm not that type of person. So let's continue scrolling, and you'll see here. So here it talks about for the makers, Rebels. So it's very hard to read. So again, design wise, it can be very confusing. And I see here Rebels, you know, I don't consider myself a rebel, so is that for me? So that the second question is, would that be useful for me? So sometimes we don't understand what the product is, but now we understand it's for rebels and entrepreneurs. But is that for me? Like, am I a rebel? Do I need to be a rebel to, like, or it's just marketing jargon? So I assume it's all marketing. But so if we scroll and then we scroll and it's very slow here, and then again, reject ordinary, and this is where lots. Okay, so here there's something here. Oxygen is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services provided by someone else. So so it's not clear. It's not a bank, but they have banking services provided by something else. So it's a so we're starting, but what exactly? How? Why would I get that? Can I get a loan from this? So again, you see here an example of a company that it takes so long to understand what the business and the service is. Who is it for? Or it might be for me. Maybe it's not. What's the price? So if we continue, we get some type of an idea, but it's still vague. And then if we scroll here, so this is an example, and this is a live business. They've received funding, and they have big budgets, but they didn't follow that the guidelines. So again, if we just scroll, there's a place here where we see a phone, there's an app, and then it says cashback rewards, but exactly like why would I want that? I have a bank, and is that like a credit card if there's cashback? So what is this? It's not very clear, at least not to me. So that's a challenge right there. So if we come back to the question, so again, we're still stuck. So for lots of people will just tune out if they don't understand what it is. It's very important to be clear there. Let me show you another example. So here's another service, and I assume it's a very similar company, but you'll see here the difference in terms of design, in terms of clarity as well. So from the get-go, when we arrive, so the eyes will go to a few places. So very often the headline, sometimes the image, or sometimes the logo. So straight away here it says banking and design for freelancers. So and then it says here underneath. So underneath we see checking account, taxes, invoices, savings, expense reports, all in one app. So we know it's an app. We know that it's a type of checking account, and there's some features there. So we basic and there's a phone and there's a type of credit card or a debit card. So straight from, in 4 words, we understand that it's a banking service, maybe a banking app, and it's designed for freelancers. So question 1 and 2, what is it, what it is, and who is it for? It's pretty clear, and we have a few details there. So now the next question is, how much is this? Is that $10 a month? It's free. Is it $100 a month? Is it $1 million? We don't know. So that's the next thing before we download anything or we get anything. We want to know how much. So at the top here, so if we look, so there's no pricing, which could be very interesting to put it there. So there's something here about no account fees. So there's no pricing. So this is where, personally, if I would look at this website, I would look, you know, try to put that in the menu clearly about the pricing. So if we scroll down and we look, so people will say, okay, how much is this thing, right? So here it says no fees, no minimum balance, no hidden fees. So it says no hidden fees, but okay, they're not hidden, but what are the fees? So here is a bit of confusion because it says no hidden fees, and here it says no fees. So is it no fees or no hidden fees? And what are the fees? Because we assume that there might be some, or we want to know. So if we scroll down, so this is where. So if we look here, so is there something about pricing? So no information here. So no account fees. I'm going to click there. So mobile banking with no account fees. So $0. So no fees. No account fees, no order draft fees, no foreign transaction fees, no deposit required. So here it says, so basically it's totally free. So with no fees, so again, okay, and then the no account fee. So it looks like it's free. So why they didn't put it right there, like pricing, and then show this? I think that would be great to know, so we don't have to, dig. And so if I come back, so I went here in this to really figure that out. So I think there could be some improvement, especially if it's free. Then now that some buyers will say, okay, it's a bank and it's totally free. How do they make money? So that's the question. Maybe they sell you mortgages. Maybe they give you loans. They sell you loans or something like this. So or maybe they have add-ons. So this is where sometimes when it's free, people will say, okay, what's the catch there? So you know. So it really depends on the audience that you're targeting, but I think most people will see that as free, and get that will be good enough for a lot of people. So the first 3 questions, pretty. I think it's good there. The next question: how do I get it? How safe does it look? So let's have a look here. So here there's a get started. So if we click on it. So Hi Freelancer is open your account in less than 3 minutes. You put your email. So here there's no, we don't know how many steps, but it says 3 minutes, so it's pretty looks pretty good that way. And I think there was something here as well. Get started in 3 minutes. So all you need is your SSN and 3 minutes. So it does require a social security. So this is where the trust factor is, that like a trustable company, because I have to put my social security number. So some people will not like that, but I guess maybe that's a requirement. So this is where trust is, for some people, it is important. And in terms of design, the website looks professional. It looks, there's no issue. There's no design mistakes. There's no, it looks like there's a brand with this blue. So it looks professional. And for most people, that's good enough. So there are some trust factors here with some, links. They're not links, but logos of known publications here. And I'll make this video short, but there are some questions like I went to the About Us page. I want to know, when was this company founded, and there's no information. Was it established a year ago or 10 years ago? We have absolutely no idea. Who's the CEO of this company? We have no idea from here. So there's just like New York City. So again, are all sort of stuff that maybe some users will want to see, some ratings, some testimonials. So there are lots of things that maybe it's there. Maybe I would need to go and dig deeper to find it. So I understand. So it looks safe. It looks pretty safe. There are all sort of stuff that people will do. Maybe do a Google search, but that's quite important to get right for a bank. The next question is it worth for me? So, and I look at that. Do I want to change my bank accounts? And I have PayPal and I have Stripe. Will this work with my setup? Is it worth my time to investigate? You know, uh, you know how it would work, if it would work for me. Is it worth saving those fees? So this is where I need to invest 5 hours to reconnect all my banks and cancel my bank and transfer money around, and like if it's a 5 or 10 hour process to save a few fees. And with my current banking setup, I don't have much fees anyway. So is it worth the hassle? For me, no. For some people, it might be worth it. So this is then the sixth question that most of us will ask: is it worth my time? Is it worth the savings, if there is saving? So that's the sixth question. And then the last thing is, what should I do? Should I do it now? Should I do it later? If I decide, let's have a look next week, maybe I'll forget about it. Or should for me, it's like this stage, like, no, I don't really have a need for that. I'm too busy doing some other stuff. And So for me, I'm gonna stay within my current situation, and I'm not gonna buy those or get those services. But you see here the importance of really checking, our websites and our landing page to make sure that we answer those questions, because our visitors will ask us as buyers. So the part of the exercise of this is really studying how people buy, and we're all buyers. We all buy stuff, and for most of us, we follow this sequence of questions. And when we want to sell our services, our products, our idea through our website, ideally we want to make sure that we answer those questions that our visitors will have. So hopefully that was useful. If you want access to this checklist, I do have a framework. You can access it. You can go to thrivemate.com/checklist. It's a framework that I've done to increase the conversion rate of a website, and it's a framework to help me design new projects, help clients, and really this checklist is here. So if you go, section 2, your content, products, and services, if you click on there, it will pop up, and then you just click this link here, the buying process, and then this is the checklist, and you can have a look. There are lots of sub questions as well that might help you, like if you want to look at the safety of your website. You can see, okay, is there any guarantees, any mention of a guarantee? Is there any recent content that can help? Like sometimes some companies, they have a blog, and you click blog, and then the last post was from 10 years ago. And so that is a trust problem, because if you have a blog and it's not updated on a regular basis, it doesn't help building trust. So you can see all sort of ways of all sort of questions that people will have when they browse your website. So if you're interested, you can go to thrivemate.com/checklist. All you have to do is sign up for my newsletter, and then you'll get access to it. Yeah, that's it. Hopefully it was useful. If you have any questions or comments, put it below. And if you have improved your website using this checklist, I would love to know what you've learned, and feel free to share it as well.